This is the FACEIT Major Trophy. One of a kind, this gem is a dream come true for any major participant. With a body forged from solid plastic, it weighs less than a Ford Fiesta. 0 to 60 vertically in 0.5 seconds. The pinnacle of several months of intense warfare, and only a select few will get their hands on it. Expensive to those who can't afford it, free to those who've earned it. Literally, only 5 people will get their hands on it.
It takes a lot of hard work and passion.
A lot of dedication.
You need to work harder, have more drive and passion than all your opponents.
You gotta kind of play with your heart out.
Not deserve it more than others. You need to be prepared for every opponent. All your energy should be in winning of the major.
Believe that you are better than anyone else.
On top of all of their 3 kills, all headshots.
Can they stop the meat? Oh, the meat shield coming in. Basically going to work out where's the defuse. He's done it! Darren get completely blind. Darren, he's going to take all 4 of them down.
London. The big smoke. There will be flashbangs and frags too, as it's time for the world's best to be put to the test. I am your incredibly proud host, Alex Machine Richardson, and London! Counter-Strike is in the UK in a very big way, and you guys have packed out the SSE Arena for the quarterfinals. I know it's sold out for the semis, but already we are roaring and ready to go. Introductions in order. We have Chad Sponge Birchall, of course, Australian supermodel and turned analyst. And we have Bjorn Threat Pers. He turned NIP around, and now he's got out of his pajamas and is ready to go ahead and talk all about his favorite video game. Guys, it's the major. It doesn't quite feel real as we start to talk about this all over again.
Yeah, it's just unreal being here, and I'm so excited for the first matches of the day. We have great teams here, and can't wait to look forward for the first game.
Oh my goodness, Chad.
It's got a different vibe, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Why though?
It's the prestige. It's the top of the mountain. This is our like Super Bowl, our World Cup. I got to play in 4 of these, and compared to any other tournament I went to, it just had a different air to it. Yeah. You know, everybody, all the players, they put in so much more, and that prestige is what they're all fighting for.
I think that's what it is, because every time when you're at a typical event, of course there's hype, of course there's a prestige and there's money on the line. First of all, $1 million is being played for over the course of these 3 days. Yeah, it's not bad chump change, is it? No. But also, it's the fact that everyone has understood, and every player who steps into the server knows that this is kind of what it's all about. This is what you've been driven to sit down on that mouse and keyboard for the 8th hour every day.
Yeah, the majors are different, right? Because you get immortalized within the game. You get your stickers. You obviously, people can go through, even if they don't watch the streams and watch you play. As soon as they open that game, you're there.
Yeah, that's it. That is truly what it's all about. And we do have social media as well. If you want to get involved, you can do so over with the hashtag FACEITMajor and let us know where you're watching. If you're watching here in Wembley, do let us know. We want to see that beautiful view of this ridiculous screen that's going to be burning our retinas out by the end of it.
It's a lot of LEDs, isn't it?
So many LEDs. I've never seen so many in one place. Anyway, we should probably get into this one by starting to talk about the Swiss final standings. Now, to get here, we had the Challenger stage, we had the Champion stage, and now just 8 legends remain. Cast your eyes amongst that list, because those teams, they weren't all guarantees, Chad, coming into this one.
It's ridiculous. Only 2 weeks ago, we kicked off with 24 teams, all the different nations from around the world. We lost some big names. You know, Fnatic aren't here. They're one, the staple with the majors. That's left us with Olof, the only man still remaining at all 13 majors that have currently taken place in the playoffs. North as well, they dipped out. We had surprises. You know, the champions of last time around, Cloud9, weren't able to do anything with that roster change scenario. Mousesports, there are big names, which are omissions from this top 8.
NIP, you know, they were always the team that could get to the grand finals and not quite close it out until Cologne. Threat this time, close but no cigar.
I mean, they had a really tough route. They played MIBR in that best of 3, just heartbreaking loss. And I mean, we've seen so many surprises here. As Chad said, we see complexity 3-0.
Crazy.
Yeah. The North American team that could, right, with UK blood in it. We have 2 UK players. UK Counter-Strike is in the top 8 of a major, and I'm sure you won't get tired of hearing me say that over the course of these next 3 days. This is our bracket, and you'll find those UK players in that Complexity MIBR game today, as well as Big Na'Vi. Both of them will be taking to the stage here in Wembley to show us what they've got. We'll be starting with Big Na'Vi, and of course tomorrow you get Team Liquid Hellraisers, and look at that juicy morsel, Astralis FaZe tomorrow, Chad.
That's one, yeah, we normally see that as a grand final, right? But the fact of the matter is we're getting in a quarter-final. That could be absolute fire, but I wonder if there's many Smooya fans here.
Yeah, I think there might be a few.
Just a couple.
I don't know if they've practiced the chant. There's a chant.
Can I get it going?
Yeah, he's teaching you. That's how it goes. You'll want to remember that for the walk-ins, okay?
Important.
Yeah, remember that one for the walk-ins. Still, we want to progress just a little bit more and, in fact, show you where are we going next. Hang on. All-time major performances is something we wanted to talk about, because this is, of course, another opportunity to remind everyone that this isn't the first major by any stretch.
This is the 13th major.
Yeah, unlucky for some.
This has been happening since DreamHack Winter in 2013, and you have to look at these names, right? We have lost a lot of those names coming into this one. This is the changing of the guard. I think we finally reached a point in Counter-Strike where the old names, the VPs of the world, the Fnatics, the Enviouses, they've all dropped off significantly, and the new young blood, we see that with the likes of Hellraisers coming through, pure CSGO players are now grabbing that mantle and taking to the stage to change Counter-Strike forever.
And on the other hand, you know, you take a look at some of these names, how many aren't here? You know, we saw underperformances from the likes of Snacks, and we're running through this. Okay, let's pick the pace up and talk about those that are first at the major. Because look how many names there are. First time, 13 names, 13 players are at their first major, and the majority of them are in the playoffs.
And the majority of them have tried multiple times getting to the playoffs as well, especially I see Nafly, who's playing for Liquid now, and he actually in a team which are favored to win. I think you favored them to win, right?
Yeah, I've got Liquid all the way, but I think Bondik is another one. I played at him in many of my tenures in the majors, and this is the first time he's been able to break through. So this is what we're talking about with the changing of the guard. A lot of these names, they don't have the disposition that Threat and I have when we play Counter-Strike, and we still think, hey, maybe if I pick a corner, it's like 1.6 and I can get spammed through it. These are like CSGO players who have completely embraced the game and showing us what they've got in and out.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of been the story here, and I want to focus on that coming in to set the scene, is that the changing of the guard has kind of been the theme here, Threat, that we are no longer seeing the names. I mean, the fact of the matter is we've got one Swede here in the top 8. Sweden used to dominate. In fact, I looked at, there's this fantastic graphic I managed to catch a glimpse at, which was like the country medal table. Sweden has 15. The next highest is France with 6. You know, they dominated, and now just one Swede. I think, you know, it's showing that if you rest on your laurels, you're going to get punished.
I mean, many of the names we see here in the playoffs, I'm thinking of Voxic and Issa. I hadn't even heard of them 1 or 2 years ago, right? And now they're in the major playoffs.
I mean, yeah, and representing nations we've never seen before. The likes of Turkey are making it to the top 8. Jordan, I mean, Issa's emotion, the fact that when we tried to get a winner's interview with him, he was unable to speak, often the most vocal of the Hellraisers boys, shows just how much is on the line here.
Yeah, there's a lot more than, it's the passion and the pride, because you work so hard to get to this point, and that's the thing, right? They pour their lives into this, but they have the hunger, and I think that's really fueling this, really changing the tide right now, is because these guys are showing they haven't been to this level before, and they want to get there more than the older players who, like you said, have potentially been resting on their laurels, or maybe they've lost that passion or fire for the game, which is not anything you really want.
And talking of fire, I just want to touch on our hardest hitters, the teams that the crowd will most likely be donning their jerseys. It is, of course, the likes of Astralis and Team Liquid. These two, I thought there might be a few fans here. Gorgeous Counter-Strike going to be played here in Wembley, Chad.
Yeah, okay. So look, if we're going to look towards, I don't know, the Navis of the world, you know, the Astralis of the world, this is where Counter-Strike has been geared up at the moment. You're looking at the preparation, you're looking at the players who are changing the way we understand the game. I don't know if anybody here would argue about Simple not being the best player in the world, but when he gets to come and do his best job on a stage like this, that's when you get the best Simple. And he has to take on Smooya today, so I don't know if anyone's going to be on his side.
All right then. So London, you already proved your worth, and we're only 10 minutes in. However, it is that time where the players meet the crowd. Let's get our first quarterfinal started.
Thank you to everyone who's supporting and cheering. I hope you could cheer extra loud for us.
My name is Johannes Nex Margit.
Johannes Tapsen Wodarts.
Tizian Feldbusch.
Fatih Goppe Daik.
Owen Smooya Butterfield.
Your inner focus should be to improve yourself.
My name is Simple.
Flame.
Edward.
Zeus.
Electronic.
London, please welcome to the stage, Big and Navi.
And Na'Vi! The likes of Smooya, GOB, these are two very different players finding themselves on the same team. Simple going to be showing us what he's made of here in London on the other side of the server. One of the biggest tasks, I think it's safe to say, as we get to see more from Na'Vi. They've picked up a couple of big trophies already this year. It's been a turbulent time.
It's not the first time that these two teams have gone head-to-head either on a stage like this. We had ESL1 Cologne, which was a big surprise to all of us. And, you know, one of the caveats I was going to paint for Big was they're not used to playing on a stage, but they've already taken Na'Vi on a huge stage with the German crowd supporting them. I don't know if the British crowd can get as loud as the German crowd, but we're going to see what can happen there. But when you look at all the matches today on paper, there are quite clear favorites. Every single game has a clear favorite on paper, and this one, it has to be Na'Vi.
Yeah, I mean, with that said, though, I do want to, you know, address the rather clear and rather obvious elephant in the room, and that is the fact that these boys prep hard. Na'Vi are not going to have any surprises up their sleeve, or if they have, they've kept them well hidden, because we know Big are going to have done their homework. First, we're actually going to hear from Big Clan themselves ahead of this quarterfinal.
During the Legend stage, I was proud of like my individual performance because I finally killed people where I'm normally just throwing grenades. So it was fun to kill people. Yeah, it was alright. I'm just really looking forward towards the top 8.
I mean, I was expecting to go to Wimbledon, so this is just, you know, it's coming into reality.
Yeah, making top 8 and managing to be successful in the Legend stage was kind of a relief for me, at least. I feel like it's we achieved something, not only for us, also for Owen, that he can play in front of his home crowd, and I hope it's gonna be a cool stage match for sure. What do you think?
It's alright.
Yeah, alright.
And that is just one of the teams stepping into the ring. Big Clan. They've got their hard hitters here, Chad. The likes of Smooya on that AWP, a UK player picked up to a German roster, and he manages to forge his legacy. He's the highest rated player of the tournament.
Which is absolutely insane. Obviously, the fashion in which they got to this point, they made it look relatively easy, but not only did they have Smooya playing well, Tabson keeps doing what Tabson does best, being the best German player. Nex has had his moments. GOB has played out of his skin. and Tizian filling in the last position there has just been doing his job. Now, you did touch on one of the keys to this team being successful, and that is the preparation. And when you look at the matchup against a team like Na'Vi, a team who, you know, plays to break you, that preparation could come in handy if you can isolate a player like Simple, if you can make sure Electronic doesn't feel comfortable, you take them out of the game, the depth of talent isn't there for a roster like Na'Vi.
And they've had 4 days to prepare for this match as well, so they probably know which maps it's going to come to. And as you said, Gobi is known for being very prepared going into this matchup.
But what's interesting is that they do seem to have performance dips when they don't feel like when they've been taken by surprise, as we did see in one of their losses on Nuke. Let's not forget that one too fast, when they didn't actually anticipate or prepare for that map. And we see it against lower tier teams. Now, I'm not calling Na'Vi a lower tier team, but they know how to put the pressure on.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think, you know, them being shaken by complexity shows a clear hole within the big roster. Now, if they don't know the tendencies, if their game plan isn't set and they're not able to come into this with the mindset that they've been prepping for those last couple of days, and they get a shock in the veto, which is highly unlikely in this matchup, to be honest, then you could see a completely different team. But the biggest issue, other than the preparation, is can Smooya perform in front of a home crowd on a big stage like this? It's a major. This is the biggest event in the world for Counter-Strike.
I think Cologne was his first test. Now, we do actually get to talking of the devil. I think this is Smooya right here. Is it? Yeah, okay, cool.
Well, no, let's just say that obviously during that Cologne it was a best of 5. This is only a best of 3 scenario against Na'Vi, and there's clear holes within the map pool, and they're going to have prepped completely for, you know, if you look at this, we're getting well ahead of ourselves here, but I think Big may potentially have an advantage in the veto. Their map pool looks a little bit deeper compared to the weaknesses of Na'Vi's.
Especially because Na'Vi has to veto cash, which means Big can go straight into Dust 2, a map they're really strong on. We've seen a lot of good defenses on that A side from them, so wouldn't be surprised if they at least go 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about, you know, whether or not the strats can hold up. I don't know if Big are ready for this roster. It's Na'Vi. Let's hear from the players.
Whew! We finally did it. We passed the group stage. It's feel great. Feel great to be a legend again.
I felt a bit less emotional because it's not the main goal to just pass the group stage, but of course it felt good when we passed it, and I felt it's okay. It's our first step that we need to pass the group stage.
More relief than anything else for Na'Vi. They are big stage gamers, and one of the reasons that is because they have the hard hitters to back it up. It doesn't have to be all magic and rainbows in their strat book, because they've got the raw brawn to get them to the winning side.
And that's the key with this team, you know, to get through this stage, to get to this position where they are in the top 8. Electronic and Simple have been the clear 2 stars, and they stand out. Now, it's the way that these guys approach the game. It's not even from the individual standpoint. They use their stars efficiently, but it's by keeping money pressure on constantly. It's making sure that they're having, you know, when they can buy an AK for Simple, they drop it to him to keep that economic pressure on all the time. And that's more of a unique approach, not something we've seen in Counter-Strike before.
Yeah, and Zeus is really known for having this adaptive playstyle as well. He really likes to adapt mid-game, go for those mid-round calls, and he's also known for playing very slow. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of rounds go down to 10 seconds left.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be something that I'm sure Godby will have prepared for. But it is Zeus, their in-game leader, on the far end there, rounded out with the likes of Simple, Flamey, Electronic, and Edward. And Electronic is where I want to take that conversation first. Not only is he receiving a massage right now, but also he has gone out and said that he thinks he can overtake Simple. And at the moment, he has been on a trajectory to do so.
Look, you don't need to be having that rivalry within the team by any means, but he has shown that he is a fantastic player. It's not like he's an AWPer, like hybrid player like Simple. He has a different role to fill. Now, he can be just as much of a star, and he definitely shows a huge amount of impact within the server. The more experience he gets at this level, and the more he starts to feel comfortable with his roster, which is changing day in, day out. You're seeing more from it every time he gets in the server. It's fantastic. This unit can literally function with 2 high fraggers.
And that's what's so impressive. That's what makes Na'Vi so special, is that they can get away with just unleashing Simple at times. But they're going to be stepping into this ring fully massaged. That's Kane, of course, their coach and manager. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what they bring. Now, we do want to start talking a little bit about what those keys to the game may be. You know, what is going to be a defining factor, a winning condition between these two, as we do have a head-to-head going on as well.
Well, if we look at that head-to-head, right, we've clearly outlined these two players constantly. Simple is the best player in the world without any doubt, but you have to look at Smooya, who is the highest-rated player from the last series, from that Legend series. He's the highest-rated player, which is absolutely insane. But he has to do it, like I've said, I have to reiterate this point, on the stage against a man like Simple. That is not an easy task to do, and that is really not where the head-to-head is going to come to fruition. The head-to-head is going to be, is he going to be able to perform to any part of that level? It's not like he has to beat Simple, it's can he just do his job?
Yeah, we have that head-to-head actually up on the screen as well. We can kind of show everyone at home exactly what their stats have been. It's going to be a tough task, as you've already said, Smooya versus Simple.
And Simple has been in so many major playoffs, and this is the first one for Smooya, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can handle the pressure. He did it in ESL Cologne. He played really well, but this is a different playoff.
This is a different player. I mean, they met in Cologne, and indeed, it's going to be very interesting to see if he can maintain that high rating going up against the world's best.
Yeah, and it's about being part of that system that GodB has made, right? You heard him in that interview before saying when he first joined the team that he was basically just a utility player, but that's definitely changed, and he's had to have a lot of impact on the AWP. And the maps I think we're going to be getting are going to be very AWP heavy. He can't go quiet when you see these two players going toe-to-toe. But he's so young. You have to think about how young this guy is and where he's really just come from absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, and I want to find out where these AWPs and where these stars are going to be clashing upon. You've said that the veto's clear-cut.
It should be clear-cut.
But why? So other than Cash, which we know Na'Vi will be banning until 2022, I do want to understand why else? Why is this so predictable?
Well, their Dust 2 sucks.
Ah.
And it's Big's best map, right? Big are more than happy to play that map, and they've shown how proficient they can be on it. They blew FaZe out of the water in one of the opening rounds of the tournament. So that is a clear pick for Big, and that would make sense. You know, if I was GodB, I'd be more than comfortable going into that. The question mark is, Simple has stated in an interview that they want to play Dust 2. So have they prepped anything? Have they changed everything up? Does that mean the prep that GodB has done? Is it mind games? These are all things we're going to have to find out. But then for Na'Vi, has to be either the Train or the Overpass pick, I think.
Yeah, the problem with Dust 2 for them is that they're 0-6 right now. Now we're probably going to go for that Train pick. Maybe an Overpass. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually see the other map going into that third one. It would be crazy if they actually want to go for the Nuke pick, considering Big played really poorly against Complexity.
Bye-bye, Mirage.
That's the permaban for Big. If anybody wasn't looking at the HatrioTV.org map stats, that's one that Big tends to stay very clear of. But on the rest of the maps in the pool, they're comfortable. So this is a question mark. I think Big should feel like they have a huge chance to win this. You know, I said this is clear on paper, who we're most likely going to see.
Not in the server.
Not in the server, though. There's a real chance. Big have a real shot at taking this one. And there's obviously Na'Vi's permaban. So this is where the picks get interesting. Do Big want to take it to Dust 2, where they have shown a lot of flair? They've shown where the prep, and it will be Dust 2. And this makes sense. Na'Vi have shown a lot of weakness. Even on the CT side, they hedge bets. They stack 3 on that B bomb site. Simple's being moved around a lot with the AWP. I think they could probably readdress their CT setup. So Big maybe looking to... Wow.
Whoa.
That's a spanner.
Wait, what?
That's the map that Complexity did beat Big on, sorry.
So do you think Na'Vi have just scrubbed through that demo saying we can do this too?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Stanislav had a really good game plan going into that game. They just went for those fast upper executes, so I wouldn't be surprised if Na'Vi try something similar. And we're going to see them veto Train.
I think I think the Nuke pick is actually a mistake. I don't know why they wouldn't have opted to go with their Overpass. You know, they can really brawl on that map. Nuke, Big aren't going to make the same mistakes they made against Complexity. I'm not feeling this from Na'Vi.
I don't know. I think that might have been a surprise. They want a surprise, and then we do get that Overpass. It could have been an Inferno third map classic. Instead, it's Big's choice to take it to Overpass. Na'Vi starting on the CT side.
But that's another interesting choice. Big getting rid of Inferno and taking it to Overpass. Not necessarily one of their better maps, one that, you know, I think is pretty good for Na'Vi.
One could assume that Big put a lot of time into Overpass, anticipating it, Fred.
Yeah, GodB probably studied both Train and Overpass, and that's probably one of the main reasons why Na'Vi actually chose Nuke. You don't want to go up versus GodB when he's had 4 days to prepare for one map.
Yeah, and it's not like we're not just blowing this out of proportion. There is stats correlate with giving GodB time and the success of his team and his roster. They do seem to just come in with mad preparation, and then when you do hear their comms, GodB just says, he sees 2 flashbangs and he tells you what's coming.
Yeah, he's able to really get the tells, and this is very small details that you can't pick up on unless you're looking for them in a lot of ways. When you just get the observer feed, it's trying to get as much action as possible, but there's 5 players on either side pulling in all this information, and Godby just needs a little bit of bait, and he can tell you exactly how the round's going to unfold.
Yeah, and you've been trying to tell me how the games are going to unfold so far here at the Major with our talent predictions. Now, we do have percentages. We have some people who have been flying high, such as myself and Dan. Wait, why is there's a chicken now?
The chicken's going to do some predictions.
The chicken's going to be doing some predictions a little later, perhaps. 0% so far. We'll see. It actually hasn't got a single prediction right.
Well, that's a little bit unfair, right? Because if it gets 1 right, it's going to go straight to 100%.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think this is its first attempt. It's been practicing.
The cheating chicken.
Yeah, it's pretty damn tight. So these quarterfinals are going to be the big one.
Yeah, look, the fact of the matter is with these predictions, they were all so close. It shows that people like Anders, they don't really know what they're doing, and they just go for really random picks because he's picked against all the favorites, and he's still able to keep up with the rest of us.
But that's because we've had so many goddamn surprises here to get to our top 8, and that's where we continue now, gentlemen. You saw the odds. You've already said it's clear on paper. We know the veto. I need to know who you think's going to take this one, Threat.
I think Na'Vi's going to win 2-1.
2-1, calling it for Na'Vi. We have your commentators as well. Please give them a warm welcome. It's James Bardolph and DDK, your 2 resident Brits who will be guiding you through this first one. Gentlemen, hello. You can talk. Yes, you can. No, you can't hear you.
We can see them, though.
Okay.
I can talk for Dan.
The power
we should continue talking until they can hear us.
Hey.
There we go.
Okay.
Hello.
Predictions,
I've got to go big. Smear's on big. I'm going big.
Represent.
He's pandering.
I have to.
As if I'm not
going to
do
win riots in London.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want this.
Dan, what about you?
I've got to be the voice of reason, as always, to counterbalance James, so I have to go Na'Vi.
Don't do it, man.
Okay, no. One for Na'Vi. The logical man is Dan.
Who wants to be logical?
Yeah. Do I have to hide my British passport now when I...
Now, I am seeing 2 eggs. Is that his name? Is that the chicken's name? Do we have a chicken prediction?
2 eggs.
Oh!
Wait, are the chickens live?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, come on, make your choice. Big. He's feeling big. He's a British chicken.
Maybe he's got stage fright.
Come on.
He's a British chicken.
Move!
Yes. Oh. He's eyeing up Na'Vi. Yeah. Oh.
Come on.
Look how tentative the chicken is.
Come on.
This game is very close. So
it's safe.
It's looking good.
This chicken's more indecisive than you, James.
What?
What? It's a draw. Wait, no. He has to eat from the bag. Yes, he's gone for big. He's a British chicken after all.
Talking about, let's go.
So another one for big in the predictions there, as we have some real multinational crowd members here. Okay, I'm going to go for Big Clan as well. I keep riding this hype train, and they've got to the top 8. It's been blowing me away. Chad, it's all on you, man.
As much as I like the fairy tale, I have to go with my head. I have to go with Na'Vi.
Okay, so we have ourselves a nice split 3 for 3 with the chicken. Me, James, and the chicken have predicted big. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth, but they have. And James, Dan, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Alex. Oh my God, what a game to kick off the playoff stage, James. This is, I think, a great matchup. Big, which is a very tactical team, heavily preparation-based against Na'Vi, a team which you can shut down. You know, Team Liquid have shown us you can do it. Stralis have shown us that you can do it at times if you know how to isolate simple and electronic. Big, I think they can do this. I think they can do this.
Well, the thing is, Big have got they've got the Mandem behind them, so that might be what takes them over the line here. Hello?
There we go.
There we go. There is the Mandem. They are here. Everyone's full of Nando's. It's still early here in London. So Dust2 to kick things off. It looks like that Big are going to be on the T side. So the AKs will be out for the Germans. The Germans with a UK, it's like a Trojan horse. It's very interesting indeed, isn't it?
It is very strange. But, you know, it's one way to get a UK player at the Major, James. We'll do it whichever way we can.
Even if it requires the Germans.
It is pretty fitting. What a storyline. So the first time we have UK players at the Major, and both of them qualified through to the playoffs on rosters in which we never would even have imagined making it to the playoffs. It is a fairy tale story.
Yeah, I think that Smee is such a Larry boy as well that it's really interesting. But what have the people at home voted for? You can vote on the Upcomer app available in your relevant app stores. So let's see the percentages and see if the people are with the UK or if they are with Na'Vi. I mean, Na'Vi have to be the favourite. There we go. 72%, not good with the home crowd. It's so good that we have UK players, so I think it will be a great best of 3. It really will be interesting.
Yeah, it just seems like there's always magic that happens at majors. You know, last major, we got that North American Grand Final, which was pretty impressive, and I can't wait to see how the playoffs develop here. And one thing I'm wondering about is, you know, having Smir on this kind of stage. We don't know how he will handle this kind of stage. Will he explode like he did the New Legends phase just last week and be once again like the best rated player in the most important match of his entire career?
Yeah.
Or will he bottle it, James?
It's curious. He has played on a big stage recently, and he was loving it. But they're in the booth now, so they have the soundproofing and so on. But they are elevated, so they can see every single person in the crowd. That's only going to get bigger and bigger as we go through these 4 days. So lots of Counter-Strike to be played. I think their environment, they can focus more on the match. And again, he's the highest rated player at his first major. That's completely insane.
It's crazy, yeah. And I know that he's putting an incredible amount of work into it. The amount of hours that he's been grinding into the game, the level of focus he's bringing, it really seems like it is a new chapter for him in his career. And one thing as well, when you're dealing with a high pressure situation like this, we can't forget the other people in his team, James. He's got the likes of GOB, one of the most experienced players that there is still playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive. He's been playing finals to this scale, well, not quite this scale, but you know, relatively back in the 1.6 era, he was playing the big finals against the best teams in the world 8 years ago and more.
Yeah, and again, Big have been such a great team to watch this major, just in terms of utility. If we go to Overpass later on, that's going to be very, very interesting because they've got some really funky stuff on that map. But Dust 2, I think for those of you who are either on a Twitch Premium Pass, which is $5 for this weekend, or in GoTV, I've got to focus on Big for the T side. So we'll see who starts throwing the grenades. But I mean, for me, the GoTV pick has to be Smir because we are in the UK after all.
And let's not forget, this is another reason why this is an amazing matchup and why it's so amazing we get to have Dust 2, is that Big have stated that they are the best Dust 2 team. They genuinely believe that they are the best Dust 2 team in the world.
Astralis might have something to say about that.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why this is so good, right? Because Na'Vi, James, do you think that based on what you've seen from Big so far, which has been incredible on Dust 2, do you think they have the relevant tool sets to dismantle how sort of tactically or well prepared Big are generally here?
Well, I gave Simple a fridge magnet earlier on, an Andy Warhol fridge magnet, so I think he's going to be doing plus 10 damage on the server now. He's boosted. He actually came to me demanding it because I forgot to give it to him a number of times, so I think he and Na'Vi are going to be ready for this. You see the team huddle, and they're in good spirits at the moment, but it's normal for them to be in bad spirits during the game, so I hope to see some angry faces later on because it would be business as usual for Na'Vi. Dust 2, a map which is still developing. Actually, going back to utility, the CT side as well, the retakes for Big, I made a video of, I think, Tabson with some retake Molotovs on the B bomb site, so Na'Vi better have studied these and be prepared for them, because all the places you might take for granted, I think Big will take away if given the opportunity, and that might be the edge which takes it over the line for Big in this first map.
Yeah, I think you're completely right. It's definitely a factor that plays so hugely into the identity of Big, and being a team that never gave up with innovating and just doing their own thing. Eventually, with just the man hours and just having a couple of good Counter-Strike brains on the team, they've made it work. And I think, again, that storyline of the old guard being sort of changed for the new, a part of it is just this fresh look on the game that we're seeing. Even though GOB is a veteran, he's very experienced, he does have these newer players around him, and he's got this new hunger around him as well, and he's really making it work. So I have so much respect for GOB to be able to considering how long his career is, to still be able to pull out stuff like this.
He has been really fragging this entire tournament, and if you look at a map like Train, when Big have played it, he's been really good with the SMGs in the early round and so on. I think it'll be harder to be as effective with those weapons on a map such as Dust 2, so I'm interested to see how that kind of strategy changes for Big as this map continues, but we will soon be into it. Everybody seems to be ready, just waiting for the countdown to begin, and then off we will go with Dust 2. So quite the turnout for a Thursday, eh?
Yeah, this is great.
Lots of people in the crowd. Hopefully you VIP guys are enjoying your fidget spinners, which were made exclusively. The colours are exclusive to the
That was your idea. That was your idea, wasn't it?
It was my idea. They shine through as well, so if you stick it on your keyboards and you've got that Christmas tree crap going on, then it'll come through the key as well. So, you know, you're welcome, you guys, you're welcome.
Thought way too much about this. Right, well, Wembley, looks like we're about to start the game. Are you ready? Big versus Na'Vi. There we go, James. Big on that T side. We have so much to look forward to with what they can bring to the game with their innovation and the preparation, and it all starts here on this T side.
All right then. Tizian and GOB with grenades for the T side. Zeus has 2 flashes, and that's about it for the CTs. A fast boost, and Edward and Simple are in that short position very early indeed. Looking for a peek, tabseN boosted over the double stack box, but Edward has an angle already. tabseN taken out, Simple expecting him. Simple off to a good start. Never shy to go full FPL mode in a major.
Yes, we are just making sure he can keep those CTs honest. They want to push that short position. They want to get information. What is Big doing? Where are they going on the map? And Big haven't really given away too much. We can see Na'Vi making another effort here, looking down towards that short position in middle with Edward, looking to see what is Big up to. We're going to see that smoke on the way to short from long. Here it is from Gobby's perspective. And that's going to make life very difficult for Na'Vi to defend from short as Big rush this long position into A.
There we go, smoke on that short area, and there's nobody lurking there just yet. Simple, he's blind, he's got a CT on short, having to fall back to Gandalf, but the frags keep coming for the CT side. Bomb has dropped, it's inside the ramp as well. That is disastrous for Big. They don't have the guns to take these ranges either. Smeeta versus 4, double pick coming in for the CTs, running out of bullets, running out of time. Simple with another frag in that round, 2 in total, and that is a comfortable CT round for Na'Vi.
Yeah, just shutting it down. I like that from Big. We didn't see an overcomplication from them. I think, you know, you have to strike that balance between having a good strat, not making it too elaborate, keeping your players together so you can trade out on this T side. But just this is that level of preparedness from Na'Vi. They played a very safe setup. They coordinated their players. They had that strong presence on short, and they just hit the shots. Great start for them on that CT side, and we know that it can be awkward if you get off to a bad start, and it could still be a bad start, James. Smeeta's on that scout, and Big have gone with this force buy. They've got a lot of utility to back it up with.
That Molotov needs work, having to expend another one early. Won't make too much difference, though, at this point in the round. Now, Big are very well equipped, Tizian and Gobby, with plenty of grenades. Problem is, if one of those players gets taken out early, that may mean a hole in the execute they have in mind. Big with possession of short. Zeus will remain by blue on long, playing an off angle. Some preemptive grenades. That's a meaty one on Tizian. That's what I'm talking about. Again, he's got no Kevlar. You can do 101 damage with a grenade to somebody with no Kevlar, but he still has his 2 flashes and his Molotov.
And I think this is, you know, you can already see Na'Vi got this really cool setup here. It'll be very strong to deal with this A set piece when all the smokes and flashes and Molotovs come in. You've got some good positions to stop a bomb plant. That's Electronic there on the graffiti position. You can see him right there on your cameras. His job will be to stop that bomb plant. That's what Big are really playing for. If they can get that and get a couple extra kills, maybe they have a chance to maybe win the round as well. It's going to be difficult for them, especially now Na'Vi know that this is coming.
I really want to see HEs behind this smoke, because this is a setup smoke. They're using this to get more space to deploy grenades further towards that A side, and there's no answer because they've thrown the HEs already, Na'Vi, and here comes the push now. The numbers game being abused by Big. Electronic in a goose position. There are counter flashes from long, and he gets his first kill. That's the bomb spotted, and then they just continue to get thinned out here by these CTs. Simple. Oh, wait, we've got 2 kills, and now it's a cleanup for Na'Vi. So 2 players lost, but again, oh, look, double hanging. All right, there we go. So that's a smoke we're seeing a lot on Dust 2 from T sides, and I really want to see HEs held late because, as you will see, Big stand behind that smoke to get Molotovs towards the ramp position so you can't hide behind the box, things like that. So I think there are some counters to come as we continue to play more Dust 2.
And it was really cool there to see that Na'Vi read the play from Big perfectly, and they knew to have flashes for Electronic. Repeated. They had repeated flashes for Electronic. Most teams do not do that or have that level of detail. So Na'Vi coming in with quite some preparation here as well, as we'll see them just cleaning up this eco rounds, just some Glocks here, running forwards, just making a quick go of it, and all very fast. That's how we like it on the anti-eco. Get it over with. And Na'Vi, James, they are, I mean, it's very early days, but I'm loving what I'm seeing from Na'Vi so far.
Especially important on the CT side of Dust 2. Big have only got 3 kills in those 3 rounds, so Na'Vi have more money than they otherwise might, which is very important on a map such as this. It can be very expensive, even if you win a round on Dust 2. So we'll see. Talking about SMGs, Edward and Simple will continue with them for the time being. Now, if they can put people close towards long with those SMGs, that will be something. Zeus and Simple going in that direction. And again, you've got Zeus back behind blue. This is an off angle. If he plays with 2 players, then Simple can be the bait, and maybe Zeus picks up 2. So we'll have to see how they continue their setup. An aggressive take of the walls there. And that may slow Big down. tabseN's moving up towards that short position in the meantime.
Yeah, so good space here for Big. Pretty average timings to take that short position away. Na'Vi still have long, and that's something that's really important for the CTs. But still having two players there does spread them a bit thin. If Big were to, for example, just rush a set piece onto the A site, it might be difficult to get there in time. But Na'Vi have mid open as well, so if there was a B split here from Big, that would be very strong. And Smooya's looking for someone to peek from the window. If someone does peek from that window, it will be quite difficult for him. Big, looks like they're figuring out, James, exactly where Na'Vi are playing from.
Look how much utility Big still have at this point in the rounds. That has not gone, but oh yes, it has it spreading. Oh, Simple as the escape he does. But now there's a smoke down. What do Big do with this? 30 seconds, and they're looking for a late split of the A bomb site. And there is Simple taken out, trying to get for it the info. He still has Zeus to hold down a long position, spraying, trying to delay, but now the push comes up short.
Electronic, what can he do with the FAMAS here? They don't have as good guns, but he makes it work. That's one frag he needs. Zeus to stay alive in that long position so he doesn't get flanked. And still holding on. 10 seconds to plant this bomb. Time is really running out now for Big. They've got to force the issue. Tizian will do so. Gobi planting the bomb with 3 seconds to spare. And it's just Flaming Edward left now, trying to force their way back in. Almost every frag. Tizian for the A's. Can he do it? Pulls out the clock. Oh! Can't quite make it work. Oh my goodness, that was so close.
Absolutely down to the wire. It can take 7 Glock shots to kill somebody who has Kevlar, and you see the difficulties there. Great effort from Tizian, though, with 4 kills in that round. But Na'Vi managed to hold on. They use Simple as an information man with the SMG, jumping through the smoke on long. They still have Zeus even if he goes down, and the information is crucial for Na'Vi at that point. So they take the risk, they expend a man, and they manage to keep the numbers. I did wonder about the short plant because the CTs could have jumped to stop it, or even like boosted or just jumped and sprayed. Either way, that was a very, very close one for Na'Vi. But 4-0 is the score. Now Simple has an AWP.
And that's never a good look. And man, such an important round for Big to win. You can see having to work with pistols now, just trying to force their way through on long. Electronic will easily deal with that, so the quick 5v4 here for Na'Vi. They start to feel this pressure onto this A-bomb side as Big speed up the pace. Simple out of position though, but once again, Electronic is so good at just delaying Big on that slope position on A. That Simple, doesn't matter that he's out of position. Electronic just does the job by himself.
But they're still pushing the short position. They know that Tabson dropped the bomb there, and they're fighting for, they've abandoned long completely. They can win the round on short if they continue to hold that bomb. The CZ and the scout left, 1 kill in the mid position. But that's about it. Flamey going to have a look at long. There's nothing there. 2 smokes down in the short area. Simple standing on the bomb. Now, if you are on that ridge, if someone's in CT spawn, you can see shadows from certain angles, so you've got to be careful about that. But here we are. It's about damage at this point. Double peek is coming in. As this smoke goes, they'll see each other on the radar, but who will have the advantage first? Electronic boosted. Smooya waiting. Next looking towards B in the meantime. The Glock is out, and that was always going to happen. Next now, 4 HP versus the 4 players of Na'Vi.
And not all that much you can do. And there it is. Very clean and clinical right there from Zeus right at the end. 5-0 for Na'Vi. Big. I'm sure they have a lot of tricks to go to, and we can start to see the AWP back in play. Hopefully, Smooya will pick that up. Indeed, Smooya's going to go for that AWP. So, full grenade set coming in from Big, as well as full rifles, everything that you could possibly want. And right now, Na'Vi is just playing 1 AWP, and I know that they can go to 2 if they want to, so that's something that they want to keep in the hole for later if they need to adapt, or maybe pick one up. If they win this round, they can take Smooya's AWP. And here comes the fast long take from Big, something you see very often from these T sites. He's going to go all the way forwards. They will flash him further in, but Na'Vi, they're not going to contest this, James. They're just going to back away.
Yeah, but they've got to focus on short. If you lose long, you have to take short and vice versa. So they start to head in that direction. But they really don't know, and a team like Big they've earned the respect of their opponents in this major so far, so Na'Vi won't charge towards there in case it's a trap. You never know with the likes of Gobi on your opponent's side. Smooya looking towards that car position. Molotov out, clearing the corners with plenty of time on the clock. Now, Big have 1 flashbang left, and that might be an issue because they've got no frags just yet.
Yeah, and I think Na'Vi right now, they have all the information. They've pushed the B tunnels, so they've got Edward already on the flank. They know it's going to be a long play onto the A site, and they're starting to position everyone to make sure they're okay, to be safe against that flame. He's holding on to middle. tabseN will catch Edward, but there is 45 seconds left now for Big to make the play. They don't really have enough time to go for that B rotation. It would be very risky.
We can see the smoke grenade timing from Na'Vi. They put a forward smoke. The CTs could be behind that. They could be either side of that smoke, and that could be to Big's disadvantage, so they're stuck for the time being. The clock continuing to run down. Simple has one flash, but he's holding short. Now Electronics in that position, and they can focus more on a long position, and Simple's going to have a lot to do here. Can't really pull out the flashbang when he's got an AWP. The smokes obscure the angle, and they're going to creep up on him. He's going to be crazy, but no, Tizian takes him out, and that might just be the round. 5 versus 3. How can Na'Vi retake this?
I'm not sure that they can change. They're in so much trouble. So out of position indeed. A 2 versus 5 for them now as they go back and save what they have. And it's really interesting because, you know, Na'Vi, they had that doubt because Big kill Edwards, who's flanking. And if Edward stays alive there, then obviously Na'Vi always know what Big are going to be doing. But because he dies, now they're thinking, you know what, they could actually rotate to B, and we're really out of position. If they do that, we're just going to lose the round. So we have to find out what's going to happen. They push short for the information just as a long push comes in. And so that information play cost them the round.
Yeah, but also Big are waiting so long, they're exhausting all the utility of Na'Vi. They can't stop a bomb plant with Molotovs and so on. There aren't enough counter flashes to stop the push. They're trying to read the timing. That was warm.
Wasn't expecting that.
They're trying to read the timing, and you sort of forward smoke and so on, but it's still not really doing the job, at least in that round. But they do have a 4-round lead again. The money is was in a good spot for Na'Vi, but of course, buying up is always expensive for a CT side.
Indeed, you want those consecutive rounds. So what can Na'Vi do in this one? Will they mix it up at all? I think, you know, so far we've seen them reading the game pretty well, just playing the basics out, and that's been working out, so there's no reason to really change that. You can see Big, though, very big change of pace here. Edward, he is prepared, though. Throws the Molotov forwards and takes down GotB, gets the information. Some spray through the doors will do some additional damage next on half health as now Na'Vi rotate, and they have a 5v4 and maximum utility. This is not too bad for Na'Vi, actually.
Yes, they have plenty of utility, but do they know how to use it on the retake? Zeus taken down. Not expecting tabseN to be in that position, and that's one meaty grenade. Now, Nex's position can be, you can bounce HEs off the back wall to that Xbox. So let's see, we've got Big's utility coming in first. Electronic is outside, but does he have the Molotov to go underneath? Oh, more mollies are still here. Flamey trying to force his way in, and this is not working out for Na'Vi. This may send him to eco territory. They're having to retreat.
Can they hold on to their guns, though? You know that Big will want to hunt them down. They know that they need to save these guns. And here comes an additional challenge there for Electronic, but he is going to crush everyone, keeping his weapon alive just for a moment longer, but ultimately only to be taken down by the bomb. But getting some additional damage there, preventing some of those guns going into the hands of Big in the following round. But their money is going to start to grow here. As you mentioned, James, Na'Vi are not going to be able to... Actually, they have an AWP on Simple save. They can afford another one. They're actually going to go for this.
Ooh, full FPL mode may have been activated. I do wonder what we will see. Spreading the wealth. A tactical timeout for Na'Vi to figure out the maths behind this. So again, even though Na'Vi had, I mean, look at how much utility Na'Vi had, but you saw constant perfect timings with the Molotovs from the T side towards the window again and again and again. And just for the people at home, you want to molly the window, you don't want to smoke the window. If you smoke it, the CTs can burst through with a flashbang, so you only see Molotovs there, generally speaking, in a professional match. So even if Na'Vi did have retake ideas in mind, there was just too many flames.
Yeah, they handled it really well, and I think, you know, that kill on the flank where Zeus goes down trying to unexpectedly towards T-spawn, I think that's a really big deal as well. Creates a lot of safety for Big. If Zeus can further push that position, the defense becomes harder to hold with that flank presence. So that's, even though that was, you know, very early on in the retake, it is very impactful too. It's all the small things, and we'll be back into it. So double up here for Na'Vi, and then for FAMAS, UMP, they've got a good amount of nades here as well. So they have a strong ability to contest this round. They'll put 4 players on the A-long position to start things off because they really want to fight if they possibly can, but Big, they're playing a slow start. Na'Vi being very active, now rotating 2 players immediately into CT spawn, so Na'Vi really trying to see if they can get ahead of the game here.
Flamey has one flashbang. He's in that long position. Zeus is in the ramp. So if they start to push long big, then there is some support. Flamey on his way over there, but no, Tizian's been left, I think, boosted. And Big will make inroads elsewhere. Lots of detail here, lots of great grenade juice, as we mentioned. Got the pop flashes as well. If there's any people standing on the end of the balcony, the corner of the balcony to drop off, they would be blind from that flashbang, unless they were staring at the wall. Very meticulous, and that's a smoke grenade which allows the T's to come through without being seen from the B window. Now, if there is somebody boosted in the position you see Electronic in, you can wallbang that, by the way. Oh, he didn't see. He didn't see. He didn't see him. Is it a 4x3 thing?
Oh my God.
He didn't see him. That massive cap.
Oh my goodness. That is a devastating position. If Electronic can just peek up, they're looking for it though. Gobi checks it. Great cognizance of the position, but Simple now put into play in that B position. Wrapping around the doors once again. He is dancing around Big at the moment. Looks to be a third on the cards here for Simple, but looks like one player will get away with his life. That is Smooya. And Zeus coming in from short now. Tizian trying to save the day, but there's just not really all that much time left to do anything here. It's a game of damage, and maybe he can at least get some additional damage in there, but Simple's done more than enough. Beautiful stuff from him.
3 players surviving for the CT side. The T's can still buy, so the pressure will continue for Na'Vi, but it's a good lead for the time being. Of course, it is still very early in this half of Dust 2. Looking like close rounds, small edges. Simple. He's a giant edge just on his own. Great play from him. Unlucky not to get the third shot on the arm, but they won the round regardless. Right then, Smooya will have an AWP, 4 AKs for the remainder of the team, and they may not have as much utility as they might have liked. Bouncing, flashes off the wall, but it will be an exchange of frags on long, and Edward will feel comfortable trying to hold on to things here with the Molotov in the doors.
Pretty impressive of Gobi to get that kill there, just standing in the flames, being throwing additional grenades in his face and just dies on his sword, but gets a frag out of it. That's going to go quite far here for Big, the 4v4. You usually can have a good guess as to how CTs will react to that initial 4v4 early on, but Big looks like they want to speed things up here. They don't want to play slow rounds. They want to separate these Na'Vi players. They're just going to go for the set piece.
That's the HE I was talking about. It's taken half of tabseN away and half of Smooya away. Meaty HEs.
Impact. High impact and additional nades to follow that. That will force Big to move forwards into Flamey's AWP. This is not a good look at all, James. For Big right now, they're getting annihilated. Just 2 players left. How can they make it across to plant the bomb?
There's one CT up the ramp as well, but hasn't found the angle just yet. Hello, goodbye. That's a nice play from Edward. Vintage Edward coming out. 7-2 in favor of Na'Vi. Still, again, surviving with 3 players, though there's no plant for Big, and they won't have the money to buy in this particular round.
We are seeing playoff form here from Na'Vi. They look very, very calm in their execution so far. Just great shots here from Flamey. Another day at the office for him. And Big are starting to struggle, James. They had a lot of options there. You get a 4v4 very early on your T side. On Dust 2, it's usually very difficult for the CTs to play that situation because the rotations are really big. Where do you cheat that extra player too? It's so hard. But still, Na'Vi handle it comfortably.
Simple and Zeus on long once again. Generally speaking, we've seen Zeus on the ramp. Oh, Flamey saying hello as well. 2 P250s and 2 Glocks for Big. It is a gauntlet run. Eco rounds kind of suck on Dust 2. Not much you can really get out of them in most cases. Double peek. So they'll use that to try and distract. The bomb is heading towards a short position, but Electronic is still holding down the sights. There's a frag, but Simple and Zeus are in position. No plant for Big. They got 1 kill out of that, and that's pretty much all you can ask for, really.
Yeah, and this is amazing. We have seen a lot of the Dust